music is also a big thing for you. Music's like therapy for me, but for musicians, everyone I talk to, it's like therapy for them. When did you discover music being something that was more than just a song you'd hear on the radio? Like as a kid, do you remember when you first fell in love with music?
Oh my gosh, I fell in love with, I've always been in love with music.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the first time that I knew that I wanted to do something with it, or that it intrigued me, was I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I remember seeing Britney Spears on the TV. I think it was the Baby One More Time video.
Yeah.
And I looked at my dad and I said, I want to do that. That's so cool. It was either that or I started playing on my xylophone really early.
Okay.
I could like hear songs. I could hear like, oh, this sounds like this. And the first song I played was My Heart Will Go On, Celine Dion, on my little xylophone. So it was like it was either of those two, but I think they were around the same time.
Do you remember just like that feeling of this is for me, or this is what I'm meant to do?
I think that started for me when I was in high school. I had my very first heartbreak, and I found so much healing in writing my very first song. I guess like at that point, I didn't know how to reach out to people. I didn't know how to like ask for help with things. And so I was bottling a lot up. And when I released all of my thoughts and feelings in that, it was just like, whoa.
It was like therapy for you being able to write. I mean, you hear a lot of people talk about mental health, like journaling. That's a very strong thing.
Yeah. I think it's very
do.
Similar probably.
Yeah. And so for you going through that first heartbreak at what, 14, 15, 16 years old.
Something like that.
And just stupid boys.
Right.
And but it gives you this peek into something that turns out to be one of your most powerful traits, passions, and what you do for a living now.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Just insane.
And so discovering that in high school and seeing that you can do this for a living, that can be a career, like how cool was that for you?
It's the biggest blessing I've ever had. I knew like when I was 18, I was making like a great living playing. I didn't know that I was making a great living at the time, like playing live. I didn't know the math. I was just like, look, Mom, I made like, $500 at this show. How cool, know? But then when I really did the math and I was like, okay, if I did this like 3 times a week, like I would be making more than what I'm going to school for or what I plan to go to school for. So I never took that for granted. I always knew like this is kind of a rare thing to already have something that you love so much at a young age.